depend. His voice is soothing like a lullaby. Sometimes he brings a tear to my eye. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy.
Well, oh, I don't know what went wrong, and I'm trying to work on it. As you can see, blue screen. Yeah, I don't know what in the world, why it doesn't like my blue screen tonight. We'll see if the wow, I just don't get what's going on. It's not working. It's not working. Hey, I'll tell you what you do. You hang on tight. I don't know what's going to happen when I do this, but we'll see. There I am. Well, nothing like hiccups, that was a StreamYard thing, by the way. It was. It was a StreamYard notice that came up and said that there's an error and something or other about my blue screen being affected, and that it said to refresh everything. So I did, and here we are. We're back up and running. How do you fix your dishwasher? You smack her ass and tell her to get back to work. That's too funny. That's not, well, for a few gals, that wouldn't be too funny. Okay, I'm going to shout out the folks that are out there. When I refreshed my StreamYard side, it messed up my chat. But we're going to take a look at where it left me off here. King Bluto's in the house. It's great to see you, King Bluto. And there's Shiva B, Lori Gay. I'll just be listening tonight. It's been a long day. That's cool. Listening's good. And there's Kathy Jahan. She was the very first one, actually, that posted a comment today. She posted a comment 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago, when I first posted this out so that folks would be ready for the show tonight. Kathy was right there. She said hi, Sty. Sent me a bunch of smiley faces. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, I can count on Kathy. And we got Tim with Kirk Whipper Voyager Center. He's a regular. Well, look at here. Scylla loves to fish. So does Sty. I love fishing, man. I love to get out there, wet the line. Man. I'll be checking your channel out. Yes, sir. There's Rebecca Felter saying hi to everybody. Scylla loves to fish. It's from Arizona, and it's nice here, she says. Oh, love it. Blake Hurst. There's my old buddy. I'm doing good, Blake. I hope you're doing well too. Uh, there's Rain Dancer. Oh, I hope you're doing well. I sure do. I always love seeing Rain Dancer out in the chat. There's Nick with NJ Garden Services. And there's Mr. Fulton. Mr. Fulton. You just won $1 million. If you won $1 million, Fulton, you wouldn't be on here. You're not convincing me. I would I just know how I'd react if I won $1 million. I'd do it on my own channel. I'd announce I'm $1 million winner and here's the proof. Bye, folks. I'll see you after I get a lot of affairs taken care of. But here we are. It's a Thursday night around the campfire. All of you cozy on up to my fake campfire and let's warm ourselves up and have ourselves a good chat tonight. Share this out. Get it shared out there, folks. Share it out. Get all your buddies to show up. Come hang out for a while. We'll have us a good time. Hey, and there, Dr. Smith is in the house. Great to see you. Hey, salute to you, Dr. Smith. Rain Dancer says, Mr. Bolton, will you marry me? I think that you better be careful there, Rain Dancer. I think that's what he's looking for, is he's looking for a honey. You know, that's the quickest way to get one is all of a sudden spring up with $1 million. I'll tell you what, I may not have $1 million, but I got myself $1 million son. I'm going to pull him up right away. There he is. There's Running Water.
Evening, y'all.
He's represented by Bean tonight. Oh, and I tell you what, you know, you got to look down in the basement once in a while. I mean, that you get characters that, you know, you got to be careful for them trolley guys, you know, they're around. There he is.
What's happening?
Trolley character, if I ever seen one.
Well, I've had my fill.
There you go. He's done.
Rain Dancer says, I'd marry you, Sty. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was just a hair younger and a little more spry, Sty might be, at least I'd be willing to consider. Right now, I wouldn't marry the most beautiful woman in the world, the sweetest thing you ever saw. I don't want to put her through that misery. Yeah. You know, I know it'd be good for me, but yeah, I wouldn't want to put some poor gal through the misery of being hitched to my old ass. Yeah. Yeah. There's better things in the world than being hitched to old Sty. You know?
But is it more, is part of it like you're kind of set in your ways too?
I've been divorced. What is it now? 2014. So that's 7 years. Been divorced 7 years. So yeah, I got set in my ways, you know.
I think it happens before you get divorced too. You kind of get set in your ways. They get set in their ways. And then at some point in time, two people being set in their ways and not able to budge at all, that's kind of what drives a divorce. And then you just kind of, after you have a divorce, you just kind of like, do I want to really go through that again?
That's, you know, what's
up, Tim?
For me and the ex, we Dr. Smith is saying take a test drive. You're terrible, man.
Well, that's what it's all about too.
You're terrible. And I'm not kidding. You know, at a certain stage, the gals become like cars, you know. I used to go to our Chevy dealership and the Ford dealership. They knew when I was walking in the door what I was up to. Every year when they get their new models on the floor, I'd show up. I really like that truck. I really do. But I need to take it out for test drive. And I'd always pick that all of our dealers here, Chevy, Toyota, the Ford dealer, they've always got a new salesman every season, every year.
Oh yeah.
And I can tag them right away because I get to know these salesmen pretty good. And they miss me being in my career because I would buy our fleets from both Chevy and Ford here. So they got a lot of business from us, and they wish I was back in my career because I didn't do competitive bidding per se. I had to go through the process, but we got the ones we wanted, no matter what. But I'll go in and new salesman and I'll say, God, that's a sweet truck, man. I love that new model, but I need to test drive. Well, we got one on the lot, Let me grab the keys. And they'd send me in that sucker. Boy, I give her a test run. Yeah. And same with gals, They'd say, Sty, come on. We need to go out on a date. Yeah, I can do that once. Yeah, I'll give it a test. We'll just give it a test, Those test drives can be pretty fun. Hey, it's good to see you there, Ingalls family. Cheers.
Test drive don't mean you have to take it home that day.
No. And it's legit because you're not renting it, You're just test driving it.
Oh, there we go.
There, Running Water's out doing his test drive.
Where you at, man?
Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des
Moines.
Des Moines.
Yeah.
Des Moines.
Pretty flat there, isn't it?
Yeah. Dr. Smith. I always enjoy the test drive. Yeah. I remember a few test drives when I came back and said, yeah. After taking her out for a spin, I realized, yeah, she's a little down in the suspension. Her front fenders are sagging a bit. Wobbles a little. Kind of loud in the exhaust. But she's still a good ride. But I'm going to have to keep looking around. Well, I'm talking about cars, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. Running Water and I were talking before we come on live tonight about this project that I'm on. And
I didn't think Running Water lived in the projects. What?
Shit, if he came home right now, he'd think his brother moved back in.
Oh, no.
Well, I got all these big, huge storage totes, and I got them suckers in strategic spots all over the damn house. I've got bins sitting out all over the damn house, and I got shit out and all over the house. It looks rough around here, but at least if you walked in and looked at it, you'd say, there's actually a rhyme and reason to this chaos. That this does make sense. I'm just trying to get the right totes and things in the right rooms, and then take it from there. What are you chomping on? Cashews? Is that what they are? Is cashews?
There, that's all I got down here. From Costco. There you go.
Cashews.
Pretty much same. Great value. Costco.
Yeah, and I've had people say, why the heck you go with them cheap great value cashews. You know what? I
Okay.
like them. I like them better than Planters. Plus, they're almost $4 a container for this. A little bit larger container than the Planters, so they're cheaper. And I've got more whole cashews in that jar than I get out of the Planters. So Planters, yeah, it's a name. It's a name. They're good. They're good, no doubt. But they're no gooder than my great values, you know. So I do that with a few great value. See, if I had a Costco, I wish we had a Costco instead of the great value.
Well, what's the thing the guy you got to do at Costco?
Huh?
What's the thing the guy got to do at Costco? Buy a year's supply of toilet paper?
Maybe. No, that's one thing we don't need around here is any more asphalt.
We don't.
I brought about a dozen big rolls with me, and the youngest boy left an 8-roll pack, and Running Water already had an 8-roll pack in the cupboard, and we got asphalt coming out of our ass.
We go through an 8-roll pack in this house in a week. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me devil.
We got 5 of us that live here permanently, and then we got boyfriends and girlfriends that are constantly here and there. And
that's right, me devil. Hey, it's not a mess if you know where everything is. You know, for a long time, I was the kind of person where don't clean up my damn mess. I won't be able to find anything. You know, because when it's your personal mess, you know where everything is.
Sure.
But then I got to the point where I got sick and tired of having to go find things for other people that were mine. Hey, can I borrow such and such? Oh, well, I know generally where that's at, but, well, I'll go get it. You'll never find it. And so I got to go do it. So then I decided I want to be organized so that when somebody asks for something that I've got, I can say, yes, just go in the other room. It's right on that 3rd shelf. Fuck you. You know, don't make me do it. You know, so I'm kind of.
Well, that's the whole logic behind my boxes on the shelf.
With the cubicles. He's got these awesome cloth, kind of hard-sided cubicle little cubes that sit in these cabinets he's got. They fit perfect in them, you know. And they're all compartmentalized, and they got label slots on the front. He puts tags in them as to, like, one says power, grab that bugger and pull it out. What's it full of? Batteries. You know, one says USB cables, pull it out, and there's about 500 USB cables in it. But he's got a whole wall. He's got it. It's still in the damn box, and it was sitting out in the front room here. And I wanted it the hell out of my way. I'm trying to straighten the house up. So I'm going to take it back to his office where he's going to put it anyway. So I grabbed that box thinking, yeah, I'll just carry that in the office. Holy Jesus, I'm not shitting you. It was so bad. I tipped that box on it over on its edge, so there was just a little bit of it touching the floor. And I had a hold of that son of a bitch. I had to lick my hands to have enough traction on that box to hang on to it. And I was moving it about 8 inches at a time. Dragging that heavy son of a bitch. That thing's got to weigh 70 pounds. I drug that thing in the office, and it's one of those cubicles. He builds that thing, and is that one a 12 compartment Running Water?
Yeah. Yeah, 3x4. Yeah.
And so he'll have 12 compartments at these cute little cubes. The cubes are what, 1 by 1 by 1?
Yep.
Foot? Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
And he just puts them in there, and all of that loose miscellaneous shit's all in those cubes. I'm thinking of looking at getting a set for up in my bedroom, because I told Running Water what I'm doing now is I'm taking an empty tote, and as I'm going through these totes, I'm going, anything that I go, I don't know, I'm throwing in that tote. So I'm going to have I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 of those totes.
Maybe that tote should be a trash can with a liner.
Well, well, I figure if they're I don't know totes, then in the future I'll stack those in my room. In the future I'll grab those, and then I'll have 2 totes. Still, I don't know. garage sale. I don't know, garage sale. I don't know, garage sale. And eventually, those totes will end up empty. But I figure if I have one of those cubicles, maybe even with just 6 cubes in it, I could put a lot of shit into those cubes. I got so much miscellaneous kind of crap.
Damn, running water. That guy just went flying by you in that semi.
Oh yeah.
Are you getting off the expressway?
No.
That motherfucker was
No,
going.
I'm going a little bit over the speed limit. Not much, but
He had to be doing easily 10 or 15 over.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
Over
don't
what you're
care.
doing.
Oh, yeah. They just blow your doors off. There's E-Waste Mike out there in the
What's up,
chat.
Mike? What's up,
Rebecca said she did the Toe of Satan challenge. It's on the
Nice.
channel. Oh, I got to get over and see it, Rebecca. Got to get over and see it.
For sure.
Yeah, I've never done the Toe of Satan. I have no intention of doing it. No. I wish I had back when I was able to do the super hots, you know. I was getting into them there for a while. It was actually, I didn't like the effects, but it was fun. It was fun content, YouTube content. Speaking of which, back that we were talking about this project I got going. Running Water really is the one that encouraged me to get this done. But Plano Truck says he has 7 totes full of miscellaneous camping stuff sitting downstairs right now to go through. You wouldn't believe how much I got out in the shed and in the adventure trailer. It's insane. And Matt J's in the house. Howdy.
What's up, Matt?
So anyway, I've got over 215 Sty stories up right now. And I still got about 50 to do on my list. Well, everybody keeps saying, Sty, you should write a book. Sty, you should have those Sty stories written. Blah, 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 blah. And I tell everybody, I'm not an author. I'm not sitting there typing that shit. No way. Well, Running Water says, we could take all of those if you compress just the stories. We could take those and we could run them voice to text, and then you'd have it all written for you, and you just have to edit that text. Well, then we got to thinking too, is there's people that are saying, well, all your Sty stories are done in a live stream, and they're just this little 15-minute segment out of a 3-hour live stream. And they said a lot of people don't want to click on that big live stream just to hear a Sty story. So we got to thinking, and I decided what I'm doing is I'm taking every single Sty story. I started at the very first introduction to Sty stories, the very first one. Started working on them. And what I'm doing is by doing volumes. Each volume, I believe, has 6 chapters. Each chapter has 4 Sty stories. And I'm taking each Sty story video and I'm editing the front end out of it, the back end out of it, any dead airspace, blah, blah. They're all getting crunched down to pure Sty story. And then they're being put into chapters, 4 Sty stories together. And they're running between 20 and 40 minutes for 4 Sty stories. Those will be getting posted eventually here at 2 chapters a week. They'll go up. And the reasoning behind it is not just to make the ease of watching them on YouTube easier for folks, but also so that we've got the audio of all those Sty stories to convert to text and then convert that text into written volumes. Also, it's just in the plans, and plans change. Possibly in the future, running all 200 plus of those Sty stories on a regular scheduled podcast. So they'll go up as podcasts, those stories. And we're hoping that and we're going to also take them and convert them to audiobook so that you can get them as an audiobook and make them Kindle compatible. So they're available on Kindle. So you'll be able to get written form, Kindle, audiobook, all on Amazon eventually, someday down the road. I'm going to make Running Water rich, you know. Hey, Bacon Stuffed Donut, it's great to see you. But that's what I've been doing the last few days. I figured it out. 4 Sty stories takes between 2.5 and 4 hours to totally edit into a single, approximately 30-minute video. Takes about 4 hours. So 5 days a week, every day I'm putting 4 hours into it. I don't know why YouTube hid this. There we go. Scylla Loves to Fish said, you guys made me pull out my bucket of mixed nuts now. And YouTube hid it. And I said, what the heck? Oh, they're hiding everything.
Yeah, well, you know, mixed nuts, they think you're talking about the Democratic Party, so.
Yeah. And
they can't have you talking bad about the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
We know what mixed nuts means.
And then it hid Bacon Stuffed Donuts. My butt's been whipped. YouTube is just being so particular tonight. But yeah, I'm having a good. I thought when I first started this project, I'm crunching away and all the fucking editing and shit. My very second Sty story, and point it out to me. I feel free. Point it out whenever I'm doing it. My second Sty story, to edit that sumbitch, it was only 12 minutes long, that story. I shaved 5 minutes off of it, editing. Shaved 5 minutes out of that Sty story by cutting out all the dead air space where you go. And, you get that big stall in there. You cut those stalls the hell out of it.
Sometimes stalls are good. Sometimes.
Well, no, where they belong.
Right.
Where they belong, you leave them. Right there was a stall. Those are stalls that are appropriate and they're intact, in context. It's those ones that you're sitting there because you got thumb up your ass and you forgot what you're going to say next. You got to get rid of that.
You should edit the thumb out of your ass. So
yeah.
I agree with that.
But you know what really screwed me up? If you catch me saying
I do.
if I'm being repetitive about it, say you're umming again.
I do it all the time.
Feel free. Because I went back, that second Sty story, 12 minutes long, 67. I kept a count. 67 ums I had to edit out of that damn video. I know why they. Thank you, whoever corrected that one. But I know why they did it too. We all agree, except for the Almighty. But yeah. So the ums alone shaved 3 minutes and 15 seconds off of a 12-minute video.
Wow.
So I've got 10 videos all edited and done now so far out of 200 plus. And
do you know what we use now instead of ums, right? At the end of the day. So it says
at the end of the day.
And then continuing, you go, at the end of the day.
See, and that's it, is I got to be careful because I don't want to get in that habit plus the end of the day would be so much more to have to edit out. It's a bigger.
I hear it so
statement.
much more on news now, and
Yep.
on radio, and everybody's. And at the end of the day, and I didn't realize I was doing it until Roman, told me I was doing it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Roman was having a blast with you on that one.
Oh yeah, he likes giving me shit.
Hey, Killer Creations, great to see you. I'll say it again, guys. Share this on out. Get some friends on over. There's a lot going on out there tonight, right now. So I totally understand. There's folks that can't be here right now, but
early as the night rolls on, we pick up more folks.
Yeah,
we always do.
Yeah, always do.
I shared it out. That's all I can do, and be here.
Yeah.
Not that my presence is really helping any, but
somebody that I totally support is starting to really piss me off.
Oh,
yeah, and I don't usually go there. I say, you're going to stream when you can stream. That's all. Right, But StreamYard. I mean, come on. StreamYard, you're being a jerk. I support them all the time. There's Puddles the duck up there in the corner. Powered by StreamYard, man. Yeah, StreamYard's great. I couldn't live without it, man. I love StreamYard. But them buggers, now on Thursday nights, they're doing StreamYard shows. And they do their town hall meetings every Sunday night during my streams. So all these StreamYarders that want to see how do you use StreamYard? How does it play out? How does it work? Could be learning that shit by coming and watching my streams. But oh no, they're over there listening to StreamYard instead. So StreamYard's stealing from its own customers. I mean, come on, guys. You're going to make money off of your streaming software? You're going to make it off of YouTube. Cut it out. Cut it out. You're being mean. I hope they're watching. Yeah.
No, they're streaming. They're not watching.
No, yeah, right. Hey, Joey. Good to see you there, buddy.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about what you're doing down at Running Water's place?
Yeah.
I told my wife last weekend, I said, all right, Saturday, we tackle the basement.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got wedding storage stuff down here from a year ago. We have other stuff we store for kids. We've got all the furniture that we brought from my mother-in-law's house down here. We got a mattress and box springs so down here on the floor where my daughter spent the night. It's like, all right, two of us get together. We start putting this stuff away, putting it together, fixing it up. I've got an old pool table down here. There's nothing fancy. It was brand new. It was probably less than $1,000. I said, we got to get rid of this thing. I'm keeping my foosball table. Everybody kiss my ass with my foosball table.
I remember you saying the foosball table.
I'm keeping my freaking foosball, even though I don't play it very much, and very little do I play it. It's my foosball table, and I'm keeping it. So
that's it. You don't.
Well, it's a good one. It's not something you pick up from Walmart. It's it's a good foosball table. When I sold pool tables, high-end pool tables, this was a 3. Oh, it retailed for like $600, but my cost was like $300 on it, and I bought it. So it's a nice foosball table. So,
oh boy, I remember back in the day, 1974. We were putting all new foosball tables. I worked for an arcade. I was a bouncer.
Never heard this story before. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, it's a new one, ain't it?
Running Water's even chuckled.
What an ass! I mean, that son of a bitch.
It might be new to someone in the chat, so go ahead.
Yeah, but no, you didn't. I never told nobody this. I don't believe.
Okay,
but we replaced all of the foosball tables in that arcade, and because I was playing in a championship tournament foosball, the owner of the arcade, I don't know why he thought it really mattered to me there at that arcade, because I hardly played in our own arcade. But he went and got all new foosball tables. He got 6 of them. And in 1974, he paid $1,700 a piece for them.
Wow.
They're all the highest end. Man, were they sweet. They were sweet tables. And I told him, I don't think that's the best investment. And he said, oh, no. He says, they're going to love them. I said, yeah, they're going to destroy them. And they did. They did. It wasn't the right place for them. They could have done much better by going with, $500-$600 machines. I mean,
well, you something like that, you just never know how they're going to last with people.
right.
That's where you have to have people that run the place that you almost have to have like not bouncers, but people like, hey,
Yeah. Yeah, you need floor managers to keep an eye on shit. But these tables, these weren't your commercial pay-for tables. You came up to a window and you bought a rack of balls for that table. And you go out there and you got that table on a timer. Okay. Every table, and there was a big board with the table numbers on that board. And they'd light up green, and that meant you could play. The table, your table is just it's active. You got balls. Your timer ran out in the booth. The booth operator flicked the old switch, and that light would turn yellow 5 minutes before your time span was up, and then it would turn red. You better finish up that last game, because once it turns red, there's going to be someone on the floor. One of us bouncers would go over and say, "Yep, we're here to collect the balls." And it worked pretty good. And our pool tables were the same way. You come up and you're purchasing a rack of balls, and you get a time limit on that pool table. And you were renting the table. No quarter slots. Yeah.
A lot of your pool halls are like that, that you go into those pool places now when it's not like just a bar. You go in there and you pay for the table for an hour or whatever, and you and your friends play and whatnot, do whatever, however the hell you want to do it, So I still like going into a bar where you quarters and you just put your quarters up on the top and, play who's next.
Yeah.
Get in there with a crooked stick with no chalk, and hey, give it a shot.
Hey, I see lawn dogs out there.
I would love one of those old classic stand-up like Donkey Kong or Joust or Asteroids.
Oh, yeah.
Even Pac-Man. I was never a big Pac-Man person. I played it if that's what was there, but I would play a lot of other things before I played Pac-Man, but still liked it.
Hey, Justin Anderson, good to see you. Raven, the Blackbirds in the house.
What's up, bud?
I did that for about 3 years. Buddy of mine and we used his basement. We would go and we'd buy old pinball machines, man. God. And we'd pick them up sometimes for as cheap as $25. They didn't work. The guys would say, yeah, you can shoot the ball in there, but half the bumpers aren't working, and one flipper's not working, the lights are out. And we'd buy those old machines, haul them to this place, haul them in the basement, and we'd tear them down, and we go through it. I'll tell you what, the old originals, everything in them was operated on these little contacts. And you had to sit there with emery and sand every one of those contacts, and you go through. Some of those machines would have 400 or 500 of those contacts.
At least you didn't have to replace them.
And I was going to say, and some of them just had to be flat out replaced. So we had machines that were parts machines, and you'd spend a couple hours, just some days, just a couple hours, just pulling parts out of machines, categorize and put them in containers, and then you'd spend other days where you'd spend 8-10 hours just working a machine. But we had some machines that we'd turn around, we'd sell them for $2,500, $3,000. We only paid $100 for the damn machine. I would kill to have a few of those machines back. And
I mean, you got a bunch of, you probably got lots of hours into man labor into doing that. Not, not strength, but just time cleaning and doing everything to get the thing up and running. But yeah. I love an old classic pinball machine down here.
We had one. That one actually turned us the most money. We got $3,800 for that machine. That puppy was sweet, man. It was a nickel a game. You drop a quarter in there, and you got 8 games.
Wow.
That's an old machine. Yeah. We had a jukebox from the same bar. We got that pinball. And that pinball machine only took us about 6 hours of work on it, and it operated like it was new. And it was in sweet condition, very sweet condition. And from the same bar, we got a jukebox from them that if you put $50 in there, you got the top 10 singles for 50 cents. You got the top 10 singles. Otherwise for a quarter, you got like 4 songs for a quarter. Yeah, that's what it was.
Gotcha.
For 50 cents, you got 10.
Yeah, and back then it was like, Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven and
shut the hell up. Yeah. Drive your damn truck. What the hell's the matter with you? Yeah. You wait to speak, and then you gotta dump a big load of bullshit in my lap. Oh, you're so good. But yeah. Oh, I remember the days with the individual jukebox players at all your booths in the restaurant. I loved those, man. And a lot of people thought, oh yeah, that's just mine. No, they're all hooked up to one big ass jukebox in the back room. And as long as you bought songs, you got to hear what the other people bought also on yours. So it's whatever songs have been selected are going to play one after another in that big jukebox out back and be piped out to the speakers in your booth. But once your songs have played out, it shuts itself down. So, Hike with Mike saying, my buddy got a Kiss band pinball machine from the 70s for free. And by the way, I was in the Kiss Army fan club. I made it up to the rank of corporal. LOL. That's cool. That's cool. Old buddy of mine, old Jimmy. He was a retired law enforcement officer. You talk about a Kiss fan, boy, oh boy. Oh my God. Yeah. He actually got to spend 2 full hours with Simmons, so he's so freaking proud of himself. I mean, yeah, Shiva says I've always wanted a jukebox. Jukeboxes are cool. I love them. It was neat when they came out with the ones that you can load with CDs, because they look retro, but they play CDs, and I thought they're pretty cool. Now you can get little retros that play MP3s. You just program them with all the music you want. You can put 500 or 1,000 songs in them. But to me, they just didn't have the same effect. There's a place in Brainerd, Minnesota called Paul Bunyan Land. It's Paul Bunyan Land. And they've got a lot of old, very old machines and things there. Little museum kind of thing going on. And they had, and I was surprised because I found one years later, but they had one of the first jukeboxes, and that devil was huge. It was almost 6 feet tall and about 4 feet across the front. Had a big glass window, half moon shaped kind of window in the front. And it played the old 78 speed, thick, heavy ceramic records. And it only had, I believe it only had 24 records in that thing. And it was electric that turned the turntable and controlled the line. But if the power went out, that's all right, because at the back of it was this big ass old crank you could crank up, and it would load up a spring that would operate the whole thing. So and the front of it was just a huge bell speaker behind a sheet of cloth, and because it was definitely an old steel needle operated 78 player.
Wow.
And I ran into one that was in an old roller rink they were going to tear down, and this guy was going to buy it to restore that roller rink, but not as a roller rink, but as a place to park all of his collector cars. And we went there to talk to him about an old car he had that he was willing to sell, and went there to check out the car, and I saw that jukebox in the corner of that big ass room where they had tore everything out of the place except for the original big wood floor. And I said, "What's with that jukebox?" He says, "Oh, it could be yours." And I go, "Really? You willing to sell that?" I was interested. He said, Yeah, I'll sell it to you if you got $8,000. I said, "Oh, fuck off." Yeah, $8,000. Shit. I ain't even going to pay you that for the fucking car we came to look at. What the hell would I pay that for that thing for?
Yeah, you don't find steals on things anymore. Everybody knows what everything's worth. Everybody sees what they got, and everybody knows what everything's worth anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, we gutted my mother-in-law's mother's house 25, 30 years ago. And the treasures and the money we threw away from that place because they were going to condemn it. The money and stuff we threw away out of that place. If you had the wherewithal to sell stuff online like we do nowadays, it would make you sick.
Yeah.
Life magazines from, the 20s and 30s. You had military uniforms. We got rid of a cast iron cook stove that was just on like a porch, enclosed porch area. And we just wanted it out of there because it restricted. And someone was nice enough to come and take it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
probably a couple grand.
Yeah, they're a gold mine today.
Yep.
They're a gold mine today. The one that we had out in Montana that we used every single day. I mean, that's the only stove that was in the house was that wood cook stove. That bugger today, you could easily get $3-4 grand for it because it was an original Sears charm, but we used it every single day. As a stove, and we didn't think nothing of it at that time. We thought, hey, it's a great stove, it's worth $300, $400, $500. Oh no, nowadays you get $3 to $4 grand for it in the condition it was in then.
Yeah. My mother-in-law's mother was a organized hoarder, so she grew up during the 1920s where you didn't have anything, and of course she canned all her own food. She didn't believe in wasting anything in her. At the end, she would get Meals on Wheels, and they bring it in this styrofoam container, and have her food wrapped up in aluminum foil. And when she get done eating it, she'd wash out the styrofoam container, she'd wash the aluminum foil, she'd fold it nice and she'd put her old styrofoam container in another styrofoam container from last time, and the aluminum foil, and it's just what she did. And I mean, there were paths through her place, so it wasn't like dirty and cockroaches,
Right.
and all that other
Right.
stuff. But it was just so
Oh.
much stuff in the place, and most of it had no value.
Right.
But again, the stuff that did have value, it was long before the internet and all that stuff, where you really knew what things had value. And they said they were going to condemn the place. So the kids in our family, we were all kids at that time, we were all in our 20s and early 30s. It was just a matter of going down there and taking care of the place and burning all this stuff up, so that they would let her keep the house and not have it as a condemned house. And it's a gorgeous hand carved stone house in the hills of the Appalachian Mountains. The stones were all hand carved by my wife's great-grandfather, grandfather, great-grandfather. All put this house together. There's only electricity in the kitchen and the dining room and living room. None in any of the bedrooms. Just have a light with a pull chain in each one of them. No outlets or anything else. So it's kind of almost a look for electricity. And just a great little place.
Yeah. Neat old place.
Yeah.
But my mother was that way. She had no sense of value of things,
Mm-hmm.
She had this handmade, very handmade chest, wooden chest. It was all made out of oak. It had a raised, contoured, carved heart in the lid, in the top of it. The heart was big. It was at least a foot square. It was beautiful, beautiful old chest. And for some reason, it ended up holding all of my granddad's old tools, his old hand-wrought tools. He had his own forge, and he had a small foundry. And he made all of his own tools. He even went so far as he made homemade crescent wrenches.
Oh, really?
That took a lot of skill, man. He used his little lathe to lathe out the screws that went into that wrench. Yeah, it was amazing the tools he made. Everything from screwdrivers to complex wrenches like pipe wrenches and crescent wrenches, all handmade by him. And that chest was full of them. Well, she held a yard sale, a big garage sale, because her and my grandmother lived together in the old family home, and it was too much for her to take care of anymore. And so the two of them decided to move into an apartment. So she was going to sell everything they didn't need in the apartment. So she held this garage sale. And this fella shows up at the garage sale, and he sees that trunk, and it's got the lid open, and it's full of these old tools, and he's picking around through those tools. And he flags her over, and he goes, "Lady, how much do you want for these tools?" And she goes, "For each one?" And he said, "Well, how about for the chest with all of them in it? How much?" She goes, "Oh, Lord, I don't know. $20 would be fine." He couldn't whip out that 20 fast enough.
Yeah, no shit.
He had to have someone help him carry it to his truck. It was so damn heavy. And they got it in the back of his pickup. And he kept asking her, "Are you sure on that price? Are you sure?" She finally said, yeah, that's it. And he said, "I'm willing to give you more." And she said, No, I'm happy. And off he went. He showed up back there about a half hour later, and he told her that when he left, he didn't get a block down the road, and he had made up his mind. He went right to the bank, and then he came back, and he walked in there, and he threw $500 on the table in front of her. And he said, and she goes, "What in the world is that?" And he said, "That's $500. He says, "I'm giving you $520 for, he said, for all those tools." And she said, "No, you're not. I will not accept that money." She says, that's foolishness. He said, lady, you don't have a clue what you got there. He says, you don't have the slightest idea. He says, I'll make a minimum, absolute. If I get cheated, I'll make a minimum of 4 times that. So he's planning on making a minimum of $2,000 off of that truck. And she didn't have a clue. And she fought with him about the money, and he would not take the money back. He said, you're keeping it. And my mother, that's the way she was. Running Water will vouch for it. Guess what she did with that 5? She kept the 20 for herself.
And the rest went to the church, I'm sure.
Yep. Every penny of it went to the church. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way they were back in the day.
Yep. And
some people are still that way, but yeah.
Yeah. But back in the day, it was more common, I think. And her idea was, well, I don't need that $500. You know, I can easily allow myself to want it, but I don't need it. And hi, Ryan. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ryan. Good to see you, Blake.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like at the beginning of the stream, you know, you talk about, you know, winning the $1 million, you know, and
right.
I've told people that it's like, yeah, win the big jackpot like that. It's like my family would get good chunks, except for my grandma. Anything she needs, it would be covered, and she would be given a small chunk that she can go ahead and give to the church, but she's not getting a large chunk because she'll give it all to the church.
Right.
If you gave that woman $1 million, she'd probably keep about $100,000 of it. The other $900,000 she'd give right to the church. And she did that her whole life. She was that way. My father, he just throw his hands up sometimes. Just say, oh yeah, I know what you did with that money. Whenever she'd make extra money, he knew where it was going. It was going to the church. And he always told her, we'll get by just fine. Just fine. We'll live a perfectly fine life on my income. You don't have to work. No, she worked her whole frickin' life. She started working 1940s during the war. She worked at a place called Warehouse C, constructing ammo cans for World War II. And she remained employed her whole life. She took 1 year off, a sabbatical for 1 year. But she was a nurse's aide at a she would want me to say elderly facility or elderly home. Don't call it a nursing home. And don't call them patients. They're residents. That's their home.
That place is so huge now. It's like an elderly resort.
Yeah. It's so advanced.
Well, they'll take all your inheritance to make your grandmother or great-grandmother feel as comfortable in her final months as possible.
Well, that's it. That's it. I mean, and what Running Water is alluding to is everybody in the family knew if you had a huge windfall like that, you wanted to help Grandma Betty, that's what you did, is you helped her. You did it directly. You just didn't. You don't hand her money. Don't hand her cash because you know where it's all going to go. If you want to help the church, give it to her. She'll give it to the church. But if you want to help her, cover all of her costs and help her do things that she would like to do. Now, Running Water, I don't know. I'm going to do a Sty story on it. I don't know if you recall. She went up in a hot air balloon.
No,
you didn't know that. Oh shit! No. I just about pissed in my pants. She was I believe she was 81 at the time, and she had dreamt of going up in a hot air balloon ever since she was a kid, and she said it's something I'd never ever be able to do. And her and two other old gals were approached and told, you can go up in a hot air balloon. We know a company they'll get you up in a hot air balloon. And those 3 old gals showed up to go up in this hot air balloon, and the one of the gals chickened out. She chickened out. My mother kept telling her, "Oh, you're gonna die any day anyway. Well, might as well be having a good time up in a hot air balloon."
Hey.
And that's what my mother was. She was damn stupid. And yep, she let them haul her ass up in that hot air balloon just west of Minneapolis, and they hauled her up. She could see out over Minneapolis, St. Paul. I asked her, I said, "Didn't that scare the hell out of you?" And she goes, "Not a bit. Not a bit." She said, when that balloon landed, she says, "It was kind of rough." She says, I don't bounce back so good." She said, "It was kind of rough." And she said, "But I knew the good Lord, if the good Lord wanted me, that balloon would have popped while I was up there." You can't just envision it could pop, And she said, "There's no reason to not do things in life, because it's going to be the good Lord's will, whatever comes out of it." And I told her, I said, "Well, more power to you. It's gotten you through life, It got her through
No
80.
need to rush the good Lord's will. I'm just saying, no need
That's
to rush
it.
Yeah. I just don't want to be in
Don't need to rush it. Don't need to rush it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the balloon with her when the good Lord decided it was time to bring
It's
her home.
It's her time to go, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's it. Because if he decides she's going home, anybody within a close proximity is probably going with her.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Ready.
They'd say, "Well, we don't want old Betty to come here alone. We'll bring her with all of her friends that are around her." Yeah. The final destination. That old gal. I got some Sty stories on her. Boy.
Yeah. Well, probably the one thing I missed the most, since her passing, is not getting my annual Going to Hell Christmas card.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be, talk about, the family that's around, and stuff, events that's happening with her, and went on this trip or saw this and everything's great and hope everything's good with you and hope you get your life straight because, get in right with God, though when I pass, I'll be by his side and I won't have to worry about it anymore. It's like, Grandma just said I'm going to hell.
Yeah. When I had my heart attack, my open heart surgery, my mother, I got her on the phone. I'm in the hospital recovering. And I told her, I said, "Sorry I haven't talked to you in over a week," because her and I talked every single Sunday for years. She'd call me every Sunday. I could expect the call. And I missed the call, which was unheard of. Well, what'd she say? I'm in the hospital bed, sore as hell, trying to recover from open heart surgery. And she goes, "I am so glad that the good Lord decided that you're not finished here yet." She said, You'll come right with everything if you're around long enough." And I'm like, "Ma, I think I've been right with everything for years." "Well, no, I'm not so sure about that, but I am very happy. The good Lord's got faith in you too. It's like Jesus, Mom. None of us are ever going to you're going to be so lonely. She's going to show up to heaven and she's going to go, 'Where is everybody?' And God's going to say, 'Well, none of them met your standard, so we didn't let them in,' Hey, there's Mariah Wilkes. That's my oldest daughter. Just happened on. And first thing I hear is Grandma said, 'I'm going to hell.'" See, it runs in the family. We're all going to hell together. That's But I tell you what, the older I get, the more I start to realize there's some people swear to God they're going to heaven, and it makes me question whether I want to be there or not. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's some people that just like, oh my God. And I always said, these people that want to judge you, whether you're going to heaven or hell, need to be careful, because come judgment day, when you're standing before the man, you think you're going to give a shit how anybody else is judged? I don't think so. I know I ain't. I'm going to have no time. I'm going to be so busy putting up my own defense. I could care less if anybody else is getting in or not.
Yeah.
I'll be full of an awful lot of but.
Yeah, this is the bad place.
This is the bad place. Anybody watch that damn series, The Good Place?
No, Good Boys.
Oh God, you got to watch that series, man.
What is that? Netflix or something?
What was it on? Hulu.
Hulu. Good Boys.
Hulu. Yeah,
Hulu.
The Good Place, and it's
Good Place or Good Boys?
Good Place.
Oh,
and it's about 4 people that die and go to what they think is heaven, the good place.
Mm-hmm.
They think they went to the good place. And that whole series is just hilarious, man. How they, after a while, they figure it out. They're not in the good place. They're in the bad place.
Really?
That everybody else that's there, they're all demons playing parts as good people. These 4 people are an experiment to see if people in the bad place can be tortured by making them think they're in the good place. Oh God, it's hilarious.
The main premise or the main plan was, it's like, it's, sure, we got the classic torturing of, fiery pits and penis flatteners, but But if we could get the people to torture each other, it could be even worse. Yeah, get them to torture themselves.
And that was it. Is they were trying to get these 4 people to torture each other, and these 4 end up being close friends and figuring out we're not in the good place. This ain't the good place.
So is it a series or is it a movie?
It's a series.
It's a series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just when you think this series can't go any further, they just kind of wrapped it up here. Oh hell no! There's another full season. I mean,
there's what, like 4 or 5 seasons. It's completed, so you can binge the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to wait for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that with other series. I find something I like, and you watch like a season or 2, and then it's like, oh, you gotta wait for the 3rd season. Like, God damn it!
And then you find out it's canceled.
Or find out it's canceled. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fun, ain't that? Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, The Good Place, they finished it up, made it all the way through, closed it up good. Yeah. They did wrap it up quite well.
I'm on a series on Netflix that I think they're continuing it too long. I don't know if you've seen the one Who Killed Sarah.
I just had started it, but I never.
Yeah, I think when they went through all 2 or 3 seasons, whatever, where you think it would all wrap up and everything, and I think they've gotten to the point where they think they can still make more money from it. Where they probably should have ended it.
Yeah. It's like Game of Thrones season 8, man. You want to hear arguments, man? Just bring that shit up.
Yeah.
It's like season 8. What a waste of film space, and they really screwed up the whole storyline. And
I don't think my wife liked the way it ended, but I think she liked season 8. Now she's watching The Witcher.
Oh yeah, The Witcher. I've watched the whole series
she
twice.
just watched the 2nd season of it, and she watched it in like 2 days when she had COVID, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I want to see more now. So
Yeah. The Witcher is a good series. Yeah, they've done good. I haven't played for a long time, but I played the shit out of the Witcher video games. Yeah.
well,
That
the Witcher
whole series is based on a video game.
Yeah, The Witcher was kind of like Game of Thrones for her, as far as the settings and things like that. She likes all that, Irish, Scottish, across the ponds types. I mean, that would be like her dream vacation, is to be able to spend a month or more back in the old lands, going through all of that. And
yeah, I'd
seeing all those
I'd
different
love to
things.
go. I'd love to go visit some of the old castles. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
I imagine she's watched Outlander.
I don't know. I don't know if she's watched Outlander. Probably has.
The
Yeah.
Another one
Yeah.
is this. Oh, what? Why don't I remember the? I don't remember the damn.
Because you're old.
Probably.
Yeah.
The wheel something. The wheel something.
Oh, Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. That series.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Tomorrow.
It's on Prime.
Yeah, tomorrow is the next episode. Got to make sure to catch it Saturday night.
What's Wheel of Time about?
That's pretty much kind of like a mix of Game of Thrones and Witcher.
Really?
Melded together. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool series. It's one of those you want to pay attention to. It's a good late night watch.
Well, the book series is so huge. There's so many volumes that they can pretty much do anything with that series.
Yeah, they can go on and on and on and on. Just so folks know, our friend over at Adventures in the Heartland, John, he turned 50 today.
Oh my goodness!
He turned a big 50. Yeah. Yeah, me dibble. A lot of the castles are starting to fall down. They're going into ruins. I watched this gal for the longest time. I should look her up again. But she does drone videos.
Oh, those would be cool over those old ruins.
And she's amazing at it. Man, she is so good at it. And she, for almost a year straight, was going all over Europe and getting her ass in trouble constantly because she would drone buzz all of these castles. And I mean, they've got guards there. You got to pay to get in to wander through these old ruins and shit. Yeah, strict security. And she'd be damn near a mile away, and she'd like buzz through those castles and get all this awesome footage. One of them, she buzzed around the whole perimeter of the castle after she did the inside. She buzzed around the perimeter and came up and was hovering right in front of the two guards at the gate. One of them's pointing at it like, "Look at that, son of a bitch!" And the other guy, and he's grabbing his radio and calling in, "Hey, we need backup. They're droning the place." And she hurries up and flies her drone back to her.
Yeah.
Her rig was pretty cool. It's a pretty, I don't remember what kind of car it was. A pretty sporty freaking car she drives around. But she opens the trunk of that thing and she's got like 8 drones back there. Some of them she paid $3-4 grand for. And yeah, she's big on the whole droning thing. But the castles, doing the castles is so cool. So cool. Yeah, she had me hooked.
Well, good night, Scylla loves to fish.
Yeah. Come on back. It was nice having you here.
I had to look at it because, like, what does that say? It's all run-on sentence, anyways. Yeah, I tried a little drone here. If I were going to do a drone again, I'd have to do something where I'd have to use my phone because you're supposed to use a little screen on your handheld thing because if you look up at it, it's like nerve wracking. It's everything turns opposite and everything else when you turn the thing around. So I was never doing it right, but I only bought a little $100 one with a little screen, and it's when I first started being a YouTuber. I was going to different communities, and one was the drone community, and I got turned on to drones. They were cool. They were cool, but yeah, you get a nice one. You got to almost pay almost $2,000 to get a really nice one.
Yeah,
that you can do things with. I mean, you can spend less money, but some of those really nice ones, it's those
it's
are cool.
spendy. Yeah. I know that I've seen folks, oh yeah, you only have to spend a couple $100, and this and that. And you look at their drone footage and it's cool, but then you'll see a video on their channel. Yeah, I'm down for the next few weeks because I got to buy another drone. I crashed it into a tree or it flew off. It didn't come back like it's supposed to. That kind of shit. And it's just like, I ain't going there, man. I can't afford to let $300, $400, $500 just fly off into the horizon. But then some of the high end ones are, they're so controllable and they're so, they come right back home. They land on their own. You don't have to be an ace at nothing. You just have to understand the system.
Well, even this little one landed on its own. If you were up in the air and the battery was at the point where it landed, it would come right back to where you started it off from. So wherever you started it off from, it'd come back to. But I usually crashed it before it got to that point. So
yeah,
that's because I was trying to use my eyes to guide it instead of the little screen on the hand controller. So
yeah, and that's it.
Are you calling it a night there, Running Water?
No, I need fuel.
Oh.
Yeah. He needed fuel while he was here at home. He got so goddamn cold up here. His truck wouldn't start the one time. Wouldn't even turn over.
Wow.
I had to jump start it with my little Ranger.
Yeah, how many set of jumper cables do you need to jump start a fucking rig?
Just one. Yeah, you just hook it up onto the positive out on the alternator.
Yeah.
And then to the frame. Because if you hook it to the back end of the alternator, it's all going to go to the batteries anyways. So,
yeah.
Well, I can remember like Toyota Tundras. I think even like these Silverados, when that battery is dead, you got to get 2 set of jumper boxes on there. A regular set of jumper cables usually won't jumpstart that damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I wasn't really so much jumping it as I was charging those batteries up so that it could start itself.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, he's just topping it off to turn over. But he's got it. So he's got this. He sets it on basically a warm-up idle, and it'll sit there and idle, and it'll bring its RPMs up to keep everything thawed out.
I got a guy across the street. He drives rig and he backs it into his long ass driveway, and like tonight, it's running all night long.
Yeah,
and I don't know that it's a refrigerated truck or what's going on, but and he'll go out in the morning and
Running Water had to run his for about 24 hours a couple of times while he was here, and that sucked some fuel up,
Now, why do you have to run it for 24 hours?
To keep it running.
Well, see, I've got it's optimized idle is what they call it. But the truck will start and stop on its own just to keep those batteries up.
Okay.
So with it being so cold, your batteries are going to go down. It gets down close to 12 volts, it fires up and it will run for a bit to get those batteries back up. But if it has to do it, start and stop, like more than, I think it's like 3 or 4 times within half an hour, it will go into continuous battery mode and it will just run nonstop for, like 5-6 hours.
That must be what's going on across the street then. Yeah, he's kind of kitty corner from our house, so he's got it's funny because he's got this real narrow driveway with trees and shit and everything else. And we don't get a lot of traffic out where we're at, but he'll stop traffic and he'll sit there and fiddle faddle with it until he gets it backed into his driveway. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. The old days of I'm coming home with the rig. Move all the vehicles. I rarely ever, I think only maybe 2 or 3 times ever pulled the trailer home, but I bring the tractor home. So that usually fit in the driveway okay. Yeah. I quit doing that. Oh. When I lived in Spring Park, Minnesota, when I heard a vehicle pulling in the driveway, I went out and looked. There's 3 vehicles out in the driveway, and 2 of them were county deputy sheriffs, and one was the state DOT, and they're out there with portable scales. They were just getting to the door, and I got to the door, and I go, "Hey, what are you guys up to?" "We're going to weigh your truck." I said, "You ain't weighing nothing." They said, "Yes, we are. We're weighing your truck." I said, "I'm off duty, man. I'm off duty." "Well, then give us the keys." I said, "I can't do that." I said, "That's actually in my contract. I can't allow anybody the keys to that vehicle. Even you guys. You can impound it. You can tow it if you want, but you ain't getting keys." Well, we went round. Here they wanted to weigh my truck because of the street we lived on. And they said that they were certain the truck was overweight for the street. I told them, no. And the street had a 10-ton weight limit. And my tractor with about a quarter of tank fuel in it weighed in at about 18.5. So I told them, I said, finally, after keeping them there for an hour arguing with me, I said, "Fine, let's go up on the street. You can weigh it. We can weigh it right in your driveway." I said, "You're not putting those scales on soft ground weighing my truck. Out on the blacktop." We got out there. They ended up having to block the street to do that. Weighed the truck, came in under their 10-ton limit. They were a little pissed off. Yeah. They tried to find something to cite me for, but they couldn't. There was nothing. But I didn't want that hassle anymore, so I parked it about a mile away from home, walked into the house. Yeah, Justin Anderson's asking you if you've ever had your batteries completely go out on your truck.
Yeah, I did a couple winters ago. Up in Montana, it got so cold that the batteries burst, that they froze solid, and all 4 batteries burst.
Holy shit!
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course everything else gels up in the truck. Then,
Yeah, all your fuel lines gel up. Everything gels up. Fuel in the fuel filters, everything.
Now that's not your truck. That's the company's truck, right?
Right. So I got to spend a nice 4 days in the motel, paid by the company, and then got breakdown pay, which ended up working out to about $300 a day to sit in the motel and play PlayStation.
Not bad.
Hey, Peppers.
What's up, Peppers?
I gotta say, man, that Running Water drives for Chief. And I tell you what, that's good company to be. If you're going to be a driver, that's good company to be on with. It's got its issues. Every trucking outfit has its issues, but for the most part, you can't. That company takes good care of them.
Well, saw the award he got that he posted. What was it, last month?
Yeah.
Look at this scruffy looking dude out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, Dan? How you doing, man? Pappers.
Yeah. Great to see you, folks. Great to see you.
Oh,
He's
under the hood to fill it up.
He's under the hood. Hey, he's checking shit out.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. Just asking. I don't know everything.
Yeah. Pre-tripping, post-tripping, mid-tripping, whatever. Just tripping.
Just tripping. That's why he gets those damn awards. You know, he does all that shit. Rate the schedule.
Make sure everything's good, man.
Yeah, but then again, too, he has less issues than a lot of our other drivers. You know.
Well, you don't drive it till it breaks.
Yeah, that's it. That's one thing I didn't like in that industry is almost all my the majority of my miles were all with an owner operator with multiple trucks all leased onto a company, and they were pretty good owners. But they had drivers that they just drive it till it's dead kind of thing, and then call in, you know.
Exactly.
And my boss, they knew, even if I would take care of it myself, man, I'd give them a call and tell them, yeah, I broke down, blah, blah, blah. And they'd say, well, is it something you're going to take care of? Yeah, I got it, you know. Yeah, but they appreciated the fact I always kept them up to date on that truck. And my rig, if it broke down, it sure the hell wasn't for lack of inspections and servicing, you know.
Well, it's like people with vehicles nowadays. People just ride them until they suddenly stop working. It's like, well, didn't it give you little signs here? Weren't the brakes grinding a little bit? Wasn't it pulling a little bit? Wasn't doing this? Wasn't doing. Now everybody just drives everything until it quits driving. Says, I don't know what's wrong with it.
I don't know where that came from.
I got no clue. It just quit.
And then that's like when I took.
Go ahead.
When I took my truck in to have the starter thrown in it for me, I'll never try to replace starter in that fucking truck ever again. I've said, take that to the goddamn shop. It's $168 and it's all done. Said, but right away they said, well, we noticed you got a couple of, you got your engine light on, and I said, you didn't put it on scope and charge me for it. No, but it should be. I said, I already checked it. I said, we got the meter at home. And I said, the code comes back. It's this cam something actuator. There's a pair of them on that Ford motor, and GM's got them too, but GM's at least you can get to. On the Ford, you got to tear half the damn top of the motor off to get to the damn things. But what happens is on these new fuel injected motors, those two units will foul out if you don't change your oil regularly. So if you should change your oil every 3,000 or less miles, and you let it go out to 4,000 miles, you might end up here a little bit of a miss or a misfire, or it might be as bad as if you let it go 5,000 miles, where it runs rough and starts rough. And so I had checked the codes and knew what they were. And I go, well, I haven't changed the oil in almost 4,000 miles. I said, so, and right away, the mechanic goes, oh, so it's such and such a sensor actuator thing. I go, yep, that's what it is. Gotta keep that oil changed. They said, I know, I get it. And I said, it'll be taken care of. You have a good night there, Shiva B.
4,000 miles. I mean, is yours really? I mean, I know your truck is older like mine, but even mine, the thing goes off at 5,000 miles to change the oil.
No, mine's 3.
Is it old school?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, 3. And it's because of those sensors. They set it for 3, because when you get up between 4 and 6 is when things you start noticing they fall out from the oil, from the older oil. And they found that to cure that problem, if you do oil changes every 3,000 miles, and when they say to change the oil, they usually say 500 to 1,000 less than what you can really go without worries.
Sure.
You know?
Oh, sure. That's the safe level is changing that, right?
Yeah, that's the sure shot level.
Because 3,000 was the old thing with cast iron engines, and
yeah,
most everything was a 4 or 6 cylinder, 4-speed, and engine oil back then would be black after even being there just a few months.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can change oil on a car that's 4,000 or 5,000 miles on it and still not be that black.
Yeah, and the old cast iron motors, 90% of them, a good 90% of them, were all carbureted. They weren't injected systems.
But that was every 3,000 miles at that time. I mean, there was no
right
then.
Yeah, a carbureted engine gets a lot more carbon buildup and a lot of shit. Yeah, yeah.
I usually change my oil based on time instead of miles.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, his damn truck. What's it get? Maybe 1,000 miles a year on it. At that, if that.
If even.
In fact, that's what I'll be doing Saturday, is taking his truck for a little spin.
Pickup truck.
Yeah, I took it for a spin this last
his
Saturday.
Truck, he's a fucking truck driver. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, JCT.
What's up,
it's
JCT?
Good to see
How you doing, girl?
Yeah. Personal truck gets like 1,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
My big rig that I'm in. Yeah.
A little more than
about
that a day.
Yeah, about 3,000 miles a week.
Yeah.
I'm usually pulling off about 120 to almost 130,000 a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sitting at 122 right now, and I've had this truck since last January. So
it was fun. I was sitting here in the house playing PlayStation, listening to him doing a review before he got that award. He went through this review with one of their PR top dogs. He's got him on the speakerphone, and I'm listening to him doing his employee review, and he's making comments. I'm over there nodding my head. Yeah, you tell him, running water. You tell him. And this guy's talking about the fact that running water had to run a lot of these bounce back, shorter East Coast runs this year. And he's saying to running water, well, I see you've gotten more miles than you did last year. Running water goes, well, that's my concern. Actually, he says, I think maybe next year I'll run less miles, and I'll instead, he said, I'll be home more often. And they asked him why would you do that? And he says, because he says, I ran more miles, but I made less money. He says, so why should I be out on the road, so much? I'll whittle it back to what I used to drive and hopefully make what I used to, because I lost money this year. I made less money, drove more miles. And it was because of what they were doing to him. He spent more time not rolling. He had a lot of loads and he got a lot of miles, but the way they played out. He just wasn't making any money, and it was pretty
So
interesting.
I just came up with an idea. Now I don't know if he has any short runs or anything that might be a week and he'd be back at home and whatnot. Well, I think what would be really cool is if the two of you went on a run, whether it
Oh,
be a week or whatever it is. I mean, because I know he doesn't come home for months at a time, so maybe that it's not feasible. But I think it'd be very cool to have you and the two of you out on the road together for a week or a couple of weeks or whatever it is. I think it'd be a very cool video.
I would agree, but I ain't going out on that damn road with him.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, where we live,
You could spoon.
Since I'm so far off the beaten track, off the main travel lanes, the shortest I can be out is 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, that's a big cab. You guys could sleep in there together. Just throw Bean up in the front seat, and you just kind of cuddle with your old man, and you both stay warm.
I know how to run doubles, even if I'm not driving. Yeah, I'm sleeping while he's trucking down the road, and then when he parks, man, I'm up and I'm in the truck stop. I'm now doing other shit while he gets his sleep.
Yeah, using that truck stop Wi-Fi, and
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you should be driving, old man. Don't get me wrong. Your days are done driving. I'm just saying riding along with commentary. That's all I'm saying.
God damn, he's saying too much again.
I got it again.
But yeah, if I still had my CDL, shit. How old is that one boy driving for Chief there in his 70s?
Wow.
Yeah.
And that old boy's still driving for him. And yeah, if I still had my CDL, then I would maybe say, hey, shit, I'll go out there for a month at a crack, But for me, it's kind of tough. I got to run the CPAP machine. But then he's set up. He's got an inverter in his truck, But like I said, I'd be sleeping while he's running, and I can run the CPAP machine constantly.
Bernie, why did you have a CPAP machine so Bean can sleep?
No, but I do have one hell of a fan on the truck.
Yeah. Well, that's our bedroom because I snore like you wouldn't believe. Well, that's got to do with my weight, but we got a fan in the bedroom that's not blowing on us; it's blowing away from us. But it's to kind of help drown me out a little bit,
Oh, I tell you what, I tried everything for snoring. Those fucking strips you put on your nose, and then they fan your nose out. They fan your nose out.
Mouth guard.
That didn't do any good. I tried the fucking mouth guard. I tried the chin strap. I found these things. They're in a pair. You take them out of their package. They're in a pair. They got this little loop on them between the two, and they're kind of cone shaped. You push the suckers right in your nose, and they open your nose right up. And those were the only thing that actually helped. They reduced my snoring. Didn't get rid of it totally, but actually reduced how much I snored each night. But that CPAP machine, boom, got rid of it. Literally gone. No snore, never snore. But if I fall asleep sitting on the couch, oh yeah, then I start snoring, man, without that CPAP machine on. Yeah, that's the only thing, and I told my regular doctor that, not my breathing doctor, but my regular doctor. I told her, I said, she keeps asking me, how's CPAP going? And I said, that fucking CPAP machine. I said, I wish I would have known that you become dependent on them, because I am now 100%.
Well, probably gives you good night's sleep too, right?
It gives me better sleep than I was getting without it. A lot better, yeah. In fact, I was shocked. All summer, May and the first half of June, my scores, because I get sleep scores. The machine reading how well I sleep at night, how many events, how many apneas I have during the night, and that shit. Well, the score goes from 0 to 100, and you want to be as close to 100 as you can, right? Well, all of 2020, I think I only had 17 scores that weren't 100%.
Wow.
Which means I got a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, and my mask was sealed well, and I had very few apnea events during them. Well, then mid-June last year, that score started to go down. And it went down and it hung out in the 80s constantly. It was saying the mask wasn't sealing and all kinds of bullshit. Plus, I wasn't getting 7 hours with that thing on in every 24 hours. Or I was taking the mask off too frequently. I figured it had to do with camp,
Yeah.
Well, then when camp ended here at home, the scores are still not the best, in the 80s, sometimes the lower 80s. Then it got to the point where they're in like I had one day last week, it was 41. I got a 41. Well, I only had 4 hours of sleep, and my mask came off like 5 times, and it didn't seal good. But in the last 3 nights, I had a 97, a 98, and a 100 in the last 3 nights. And I can feel it. I can feel the difference. Now that I'm here at this place, a lot of things are getting better. I ate like a damn fool yesterday, too. I literally ate more than twice as much as I typically eat in a day. And I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. See how tonight goes. After this stream, I'll be chowing again. Yeah. I think it would be cool to have an 18-wheeler where the trailer is converted into a home. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I actually saw what I thought was the neatest rig. This guy had an old trailer, 26 feet long, and it was a van trailer with a round nose on it. And that trailer had been manufactured in 1948. And he had taken an old Peterbilt. Oh, I take that back. No, it wasn't. He had taken an old Mack conventional truck. Those cabs, the old buggers, this one was 1956, 57, right around there. Those cabs were small. I mean, if you had a passenger in with you, you could bump elbows just easy. That's how small it was. You couldn't stretch out in the sleeper bunk on them because the bunk was about 1.5 feet, 2 feet too narrow or short, that you had to sleep kind of with your knees bent. It was just too small, and the bunk was only about 18 to 20 inches deep. So they were tiny. He had taken that truck and he had totally restored that truck. Every nut bolt on that truck, restored the whole thing. And he put that little 26-foot van trailer on it and had converted that van trailer into an RV. And he did such a good job on it that he sold his house and he just lives on the road driving that Mack truck around with that trailer. And it just looks like an old antique over the road truck, with this little trailer on it. But that's his home, man. It's his rolling home. That thing was sweet. When I said Peterbilt, I was thinking about this guy. I had him and the guy I just told you about mixed up. This other guy had taken this old Peterbilt and he kind of chopped and channeled that truck so it would look like a low rider, and he had custom wheels made for it, all these fancy ass chrome wheels. And front axle had big giant baby moon hubcaps on it. Thing was awesome looking. He said, "You ain't towing nothing with it. It's all for looks and just to enjoy riding around town in, right?" He popped the hood on that thing and we were looking at it. He took the diesel motor out of a refrigeration unit off of a trailer and converted that diesel motor and matched it up to a 13 speed tranny.
Really?
Yeah. He said it got about 12 to 14 miles a gallon. And it's got this tiny little diesel motor out of that refrigeration unit sitting there, and then you pop the hood, and there's that motor sitting right out there all by itself, sticking off the end of that transmission. It's like, that runs the truck, he says. You'd be surprised how much power that little diesel has. He says that particular model, it had 180 horsepower to it. So, and 180 horsepower in a diesel on a 13-speed transmission. Plenty of power just to pull an empty truck around, you know. And yeah, it was pretty unique. It was pretty cool.
Well, what a lot of people don't think about is, the transmissions in these trucks, they're designed to get 80,000 pounds up to speed. You take all that weight off,
Right.
You're good. You're good on the takeoff. You're not going to win any long races, but
I used to have a blast. I'll never forget. I had to lay over in Madison, Wisconsin for a long weekend. A delivery on a Tuesday, and I rolled in on a Friday morning, and looking for something to do, And I'm sitting in a truck stop in a bad location. There ain't nothing close by. Well, there was a rodeo in town, but it was on the other end of town. And I thought, well, I'm not paying for a cab all the way across town. And I thought, oh, I'll drop the trailer and I'll just bobtail over there with the tractor. And I had a cab over Freightliner, 82 Freightliner with a 400 Cummins in it. And I had fun that the night I went to the rodeo, on the way there and on the way back. Oh God, I'm glad I didn't get stopped. I was racing every Tom, Dick, and Harry at every stoplight, man. I get some young kid next to me, and he's got himself a hot little car. He's down there, vroom, 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 vroom. I look out the window at him. Buddy in the passenger seat look up at me and laugh. I take that son of a bitch and I put it, that truck. If I recall, that truck had I believe it had a nine speed in it, and I'd put it in 4th or 5th gear. So, I mean, there's no trailer on it; it's just a track. Put it in 4th or 5th gear. I'd redline that diesel, and that light turned green. I dumped that clutch. And these guys in these sporty little cars would just about piss their pants. You'd light up 2 of them dualies on that, out of the 4 sets. You'd light up 2 of them. They'd just be smoking like a son of a bitch, and you're taking off, and your truck damn tires are almost coming off the ground. That son of a bitch had so much torque and so much power. They'd beat me to the next light, but I'd have 4 truck lengths on them halfway there. I just didn't get the tall end on it like they could. I couldn't catch a high enough gear quick enough.
Good night, Kathy.
Good night, Kathy. Thanks, sweetie, for being here.
Can I ask a question?
Sure you can.
It's messed with my mind. I'm looking at running water screen, and I keep seeing lights flash on either side, almost like they're off in the distance, and now they've stopped. I don't know if they were inside of his truck and flashing off of his windshield, but now they've stopped.
Huh.
Oh, no, you can see it there. If you watch, like off in the distance, you can see lights along the side of the road flashing. You don't got lights out there flashing like every second, do you? Running water?
No, but there are yard posts out there. You know,
Oh yeah,
it seemed like every second. Every second. There you go, out there. Now. I keep seeing stuff flashing.
let me look at the horizon. We do have some wind farm stuff out here.
Yeah, now I'm just seeing it on the left now, but I was seeing it on the left
Yep.
and the right before.
There's two of the big wind generators out.
All right, so I'm
here,
not crazy.
just to the left.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay,
you are
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it is Iowa. They got a lot of wide open space and no trees, so they put up all these fans.
That's the thing in Iowa, that the fans don't have to be as tall because they only have to get them higher than the corn.
Oh, but I kid you not. Because I lived down here in Iowa for 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
When they started putting up all these fans and stuff, the protests we had of people out there fighting, putting up these wind fans out here because it's already too windy out here. We don't need more wind in Iowa, putting up these big old fans out in the fields.
Well, I
wow.
Need more wind.
I figured the
That's
first
crazy.
wind farm I saw in Iowa, I'm going, yes. Iowa's getting smart, that hot, humid son of a bitch. They needed to put some fans out there to keep people cooled off. And then I found out, oh no, those fans aren't being powered. They're making power. It's not.
Yeah, they're
poor,
using
stupid
the wind, not
morons.
making the wind.
Yeah. Well, they're still not as dumb as the group out in California, that was complaining about the solar farms. What are we going to do when we suck up all the sun's power and, then it's dark all the time?
Yeah. I tell you what, Running Water and I get in this conversation all the time about how stupid our world has become, and how scientists and we know of one in particular, that think they're science, and if you question it, then you're not a scientist. And the whole theory behind science is question. Answer the question.
Science is questioning.
No, it's just a big question mark. Science is a big question mark.
It's theory, right?
And
it's all about testing, retesting, peer reviewing.
And it requires itself to constantly be questioned.
Right.
And I was cheering today with the FDA deal about releasing Pfizer's safety records for the vaccination. That they're saying, it's going to take 75 years to release that before we're allowed to release that stuff because of confidentiality and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The court said, nah, you got 8 months.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, get that information out.
Right. And that's it is, and the thing is, I just don't like the censorship of people anymore. What goes on anymore is you want to hear the views of others. Mm-hmm. And what are they basing those views on? And if they've got good facts, that's like, okay, this is something that the world, literally the world, does not know. Only a handful of people in the world know this. And I feel good about the fact that I do. Did you know that hydrogen peroxide is edible? I've known this for years. I used to be on a regular hydrogen peroxide regimen where I drank 3 drops of 35% hydrogen peroxide every single day. And
please consult your physician before doing what he does. I'm just saying.
But I'm not trying to give advice. I'm not giving advice.
Right.
And I look at it this way: if you're dumb enough to do something just because I did it, then whatever the results end up being are your problem. Because yeah, I'm not here to give advice, but here's what people don't know. What was hydrogen peroxide first called when it was discovered? Does anybody know? What was it categorized as? What was its title when it was first discovered? And it held that for decades.
Pop quiz.
Its title was vitamin K. Vitamin K.
Really?
Yes, it was considered part of the vitamin group. And it's because it's an oxidizer. You take antioxidants, and in some cases, you want to take an oxidizer. And they used oxidizers a lot in cancer treatments because cancer doesn't do well in raw oxygen. And what is hydrogen peroxide? It's just water with an extra part of oxygen. It's HO2O. It's not H2O, it's HO2O. It's H2O.
So what does it do for you?
Yeah, H2O2.
Yeah, H2O2. It oxidizes your blood. It adds oxygen to your system.
How does that help you?
Which deters cancer growth.
Well, there you go.
And
Joe Biden did say he would cure cancer.
But the whole medical field, the whole field, even my own doctor, said, no way, that's bullshit, and on and on and on. And I said, well, the reason it was, when they decided they're going to title it hydrogen peroxide, it goes back to, and to declare it a non-consumable, goes back to World War II. Because the Nazis, they got a hold of that information from the Russians, that this vitamin K had certain good health properties to it. But only if it's pure hydrogen peroxide and there's no carriers or anything added to it, for life expectancy, blah, blah, blah. If it's just pure hydrogen peroxide, it's actually good for you in these tiny little amounts, right? But the world said, no, we can't promote it being good for you because the Nazis were doing experiments with it. So it's got to be bad. But people don't realize there's an awful lot of things in the medical world and in our in the tech side of things that would not exist today if them goofy ass Nazis weren't as nasty and terrible as they were. But that's
yeah, the means weren't that great, but the results, were beneficial.
Were beneficial, absolutely. And hydrogen peroxide. And see, I've had people argue with me. No, Sty, don't buy into that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And I did a lot of background on that to find out just what the whole scoop was. Well, why is it if it's hydrogen peroxide so bad for you? Next time you open a bag of potato chips and you see it's foil, it's got the foil inside of that. It's like a Mylar bag, but it's got all the advertising and shit on the outside, but on the inside you see the tin foil. Why is that? And they say, well, that's to keep them fresh. No. It's yes, but it's really no. It's because the hydrogen peroxide will not bleed through that. If it was just a plastic bag, it can actually bleed through it.
Okay.
But if it's foil lined, it won't bleed through. Why has the bag got air in it? Air is what makes things stale, correct?
Sure.
Those bags get a little shot of hydrogen peroxide, puffs them up, and they seal the bag. Puffs them up, seals the bag. Because that hydrogen peroxide will kill any organic matter inside that bag. If there's any bacteriums or viruses in that bag, it'll kill it. And it keeps what's in there fresh. It's just enough to basically to sanitize the bag that your chips are getting dropped in. What they use is 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. So why does the FDA approve such a thing? 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide, but yet they tell you whatever you do, don't swallow any of that shit. But yet a doctor will tell you, oh, you got these sores in your mouth. Rinse with that 3% you get from Walmart. Just pour some in your mouth and rinse with it and spit it out. Don't swallow it, spit it out. You're still going to swallow some of it.
Some of it.
Aren't you? Well, of course you are. Because it's not going to kill you. It's not poisonous. It's not toxic. But they don't want any remedies out there that the pharmaceuticals can't capitalize on. And that's one they couldn't capitalize on. So, hey, the Canuck is in the house.
Sty, I'm going to head out for the night.
Hey, yeah.
So
we're going to wrap it up pretty soon here. I've been keeping my streams down around 2 hours or so. So
I do appreciate you having me up here. I like hanging out with you and your boy. So
it's always a blast.
Yep, 2 hours. We've had our fill.
We've had our fill of Phil. And he had his fill of Phil the first minute I was in, but
Yeah, running water right away. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Have a good
night,
a
lot of people come here to get their fill.
So good night. Love you.
Hey, love you too.
Spicy.
Keep it spicy. We'll see you, brother. Hey guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up, but how do I do this? I got something for us to do here that I don't do often, but tonight I'd like to do this. Where is it? I'll get it for you. I'm hoping that didn't work. I'll get there. Give me a second. There, that's what I'm looking for. This should work. Should work. Come on, copy your phone. There it was. There we go. We're going to. Where's my keyboard? That's that keyboard for this machine. I haven't been using the keyboard for this machine. And we'll pop this in here. I hope it works okay. I hope this works. Boom. I'm supposed to do that. All right, what I'm going to do is out in the chat, I'm going to post a link. And it's John's birthday over at Adventures in the Heartland. Let's scoot over there and do a raid. Let's raid him. Let's do a happy birthday raid over there from Sty North. I think it's that link. Yeah, that link is working. It looks like it's working. So let's do a Sty North raid over. I'm having all kinds of fun. My two machines are acting up. So all else fails. That's the nice thing about having two machines. There you go, Sty raid. Let's do a Sty raid over there at Adventures in the Heartland, eh? So, thanks for being here, everyone. It was a blast as usual. Love my campfires with you folks. And until the next one, hey, don't forget, it's Thursday night. So tomorrow night, Sty times at 5 p.m. Central Time. Real interesting fun. We're going to have fun. Directly in the channel. Yeah, right click it and say open in a different tab. But I'll get back to what I was saying. Tomorrow night, Sty time. The topic, we're going to have fun with it. We're just having a good time around that. And the topic is nude yoga. So if you can make it, come on over. I think we're going to have fun with that. And then again, no stream on Saturday, but Sunday, Sty Story Sundays, as usual. And until then, you all take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Sty loves you. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks, Running Water, for being here.
Yep. Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.